Love in the 21st century. Operating manual, 3 types of modern love. The most interesting thing is watching how a person with a pronounced defect tries to reason about the essence of love. With a skewed worldview, love turns into a crooked, toothless old woman with 2 names: dependence and emptiness. That's what most people now call love. Dependence. Dependence hidden behind the mask of love is easy to recognize. You are absent from it. It's clearly visible that there is a relationship, but you are not in it. There is only the other person. You dissolve within the other person. At first, you merge with them because objectively, they fit the role of someone you could merge with. You transfer your personality onto the other person and clothe their shell in yourself. Treating the other as your property, you hand over part of your personality and then all of yourself. You don't see the other's individuality and the boundaries which, when crossed, make you an unwanted guest. You consider yourselves a single whole in the relationship. Since the other's image is a sweet prize, and you objectively don't measure up to it, you try with all your might to appropriate it. Without understanding the person might be against it. When the other person closes their boundaries, your personality remains locked within them, and you can no longer see your own happiness apart from that person. Without a retained personality, a person becomes extremely malleable, hence your humiliations in the relationship. It seems to you that you are one, but only to you. The person closes off, and you remain on their territory, and what's left of you tries to pry open their boundaries to go in and take back what's yours. I made a video about territories. It's important to understand what is yours and what is not. Don't go where it's not yours, and especially don't leave parts of yourself on someone else's territory if you don't want to lose them. By competently constructing your boundaries, you stop leaving pieces of yourself on someone else's territory, and your dignity stays at your base, preventing you from reaching the stage of addiction. You are responsible for ending up in addiction. The man is not to blame, the woman is not to blame. Don't shift responsibility. Otherwise, next time, you'll end up there again, and again, someone else will be at fault. You lose yourself, and since you are originally on your own territory, and no one can move you onto someone else's except you, you alone are at fault here. Emptiness. If we're talking about the complete absence of love, you might call it a strong position, an imbalance, whatever you like. If emptiness is about you, you may notice that in relationships, you cannot feel the other person's value at all. They block the sun from shining on you. They're not interesting in interaction, and you perceive them as a tail with no functionality. But cutting it off hurts, and hardly anyone does it. Everyone somehow lives with it. Encountering emptiness in life, you will someday encounter addiction, because both are caused solely by your inability to competently outline the circle of your influence. You don't understand what is yours and what is not. You invade someone else's territory to swallow the other's personality. Emptiness arises when you manage to do this and gain control. Addiction arises when their boundaries close to you. You remain outside, and the personality is inside. Balance. Only by learning to understand the other person's agency and your own, and by ceasing to invade someone else's domain, do you gain the possibility of living in balance with another. You must stop wanting to endow the other person with your brain and accept their individuality, history, and logic of behavior. The interesting point is that you can get a complete absence of love only by swallowing a person and subjugating them to your will. But if you don't strive for that from the outset, you won't end up in emptiness. You fall into addiction only when you see a juicy image you want to merge with. Take steps toward it. Enter the other person's territory. And in the end, their boundaries close, and the larger part of you remains inside them. Where you wanted to rule, you remain as a slave. Balanced relationships are neither the first nor the second. It's the state where the other person's value is equal to your own. You regard them as your equal, not as like you, but silly, not as someone you want to merge with to get a tasty piece of their energy. As a person as individual as you are, with whom you neither attack their boundaries nor project your thoughts onto them, making your thoughts theirs. I'm explaining this to show that you don't have to swap a relationship where I'm loved but I don't love for one where I did everything and wasn't appreciated. There's always a third option that can be achieved only by changing your basic settings. Recall a situation where you were in addiction and ask yourself, did you try to implant your thoughts into the other person? It didn't work, did it? And then you fell into addiction. Now recall a moment when you succeeded in doing it. What was the outcome? Emptiness. So maybe it's time to break this vicious circle and choose balance.